Little Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Warren Zevon. That'll be on the karaoke this weekend.
Ooh, sounds good. Karaoke.
Recorded live at Dutch Masters Studios, high atop Rumpke Mountain in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's the Two Leader Boys Show. With your hosts, gorgeous Dutch DeClain.
And filling in for the Mocha Choca, it's Doris Porter, the lovely and talented. And now, the blackest honky and whitest black girl in podcasting.
That's right.
Two Little Kids.
Oh, I miss you, Dutch.
Said lawyers, guns, and money.
I miss you, Dutch. I have no idea what we're listening to, but it sounds good.
Well, drop your cocks, grab your socks. Time to start breaking rocks. I'm your host, gorgeous Dutch DeClain, way off over there on the far end of Dutch Master Studios. Our co-host for the day, the lovely and talented Doris Porter. Doris, say hi to the beautiful people.
Hi, beautiful people. How are you?
Little Warren Zevon bringing us in. Warriors, Guns, and Money. I love this song. Oh. Between a rock and a hard place, and I'm down on my luck.
That is surprising. I would never imagine you listen to that. I would thought Van Morrison.
What?
Van Morrison. Oh, I can see you jamming to some Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh,
which, by the way,
that's too
funny
basic
story. Van Morrison was talking about, actually, he changed the lyrics up. It wasn't Brown Eyed Girl. It was actually Brown Skinned Girl. He was into a girl that was black. And the record exec was like, yeah, and they changed that. So, yeah. Fun fact about Van Morrison.
The record exec gave him a little one of these.
There you go.
Tell him better. Tell him to check himself before he wrecked himself.
Boom. Boom.
Ah, there she is. All right, y'all. Well, am I a little loud? I don't know. Let's keep it rolling. Oh, golly. We were having a lovely pre-show convo.
We were.
Yeah, I got crept on by a group of millennials, man, about a photograph that I took years ago, but I won't go too deep about who or what they are. I've talked about this photo before, though. Rick James, 2005.
Rick James, bitch.
Rick James, bitch. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself.
It was actually a persona that got me through my 20s.
I believe that, and it's gotten you a lot of boobs pics, probably.
Well,
a lot of them.
Camera phones were not very reliable back in those days.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
yeah. Good old Rick.
Yeah, how did that get you through? You said it got you through life. How did that persona get you through life? Was that like just the like Rick James gave you that like what do you call that?
Swag, girl.
The swag, the like Beyonce has her Sasha Fierce sort of personality, whatever you call that, alter ego kind of deal. Was Rick James your alter ego? Was he your persona?
Yes, and I will tell you, it worked. It was multifaceted because one, if you had a customer or a boss who was instead of just talking some shit to him, which used to get me in trouble, by 24, 25, I learned that I could go. In my head, I'd go, I'm Rick James, bitch. And then I'd auditory, I would say, enjoy yourself. So I'm saying it without saying it, Right. And the ones who did know knew, and they still didn't care,
Right.
And yeah, so I mean that can help you break up break that boil in your brain, but it also worked just as a swaggy kind of thing, as a single guy. Because we didn't have swipe right, swipe left, and all these magnificent things pulling out cell phones. We had cell phones.
We had cell phones, yeah.
But I mastered my game in the bar back in the late 90s as a teenager.
God, yeah.
So, I'd come in smelling good, crispened up, and be like, buy a girl a drink or something. Like, enjoy yourself. Give them the hands and everything. Ooh, you know what I mean? On a young girl, swag works, especially because young guys don't have it. I did. So, yeah, the embodiment of Rick James was quite a thing. So, yeah, I had to pay ode to Rick.
Right.
That Thanksgiving. Give me some turkey, bitch. Candy corn. The corn's gone bad.
Oh, that's so funny. It's like, gosh.
That Halloween, I should say, that was 05, which actually I think was right after he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, a girl I broke up with who was driving down, my bar was a block away, right?
Right.
In Oakley. She would drive down from Westchester after we broke up, because she thought she was a celebrity now. Yeah, around all my friends. And I came in as Rick James. And she's like, I hope you don't want to hook up with me. And I'm just like, I'm Rick James, bitch. The milk's gone bad.
Did she understand that?
She never came back. She quit driving down from Westchester, creeping around my bar. So,
what?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, man, that's
hilarious.
That's Dutchie's words of wisdom to you young folks out there. Embody Rick.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I wish I had some clips of Rick, but
yeah, I hear ya. But Rick is so cool. But 05 that would work, but in 22, ooh, that's a whole different thing, Yeah. And it's a whole different audience now. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, people, yeah. I don't know. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, but the difference. People approach everything in bad faith now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
People forego intellectual honesty for the sake of wanting to be offended or to, fake the virtue of being offended for somebody else. And I can't wait for that shit to fall out of vogue.
Oh, no. Come on now. That is life. That has always been through the generations. Everybody wants to be part of the party there. The people in... that's not offended kind of deal.
Yeah.
And everybody
well, some parties they're eating mushrooms and other parties they're fucking jerking off to a snuff film, and this is more like the latter. I'm not too into this fucking party these days.
I don't disagree. I mean, and it's easily to be offended or people thinking the wrong thing, like one time, I was telling you about this before, but about just you can be in the wrong audience and you just make a bad joke and people automatically take it to the wrong level. Like, for example, I was making a joke about actually cutting a bitch. Right? Which, if you know me, I'm not going to do that. However, wrong people, and there were nervous white people who were just nervous when I said I'm gonna have to cut that bitch when I was joking, but still people automatically thought it, and it was a liberal type of thinking, and like if I said this around black people, they would automatically just laugh their asses off about it because they, again, me doing something like that, but at the same time, wrong audience, got nervous, got really scared. Like, man, she seemed like she's normal. I think she wouldn't go ahead and cut somebody. Who knows? I don't know. But at the same time, people took it as the wrong way. But I have a million and one of those odd things. It's just kind of like, this wrong audience, wrong people to say something like that because it's just how it is. Some people get overly offended by just dumb things.
Well, this introduces a segment. It's time for Dutchie's Deeper Dive. Are you ready to dive deep with Dutch on that?
I will dive deep with you.
All right.
Why not?
I need a Rolling in the Deep.
That's a good karaoke song. Can you
it
sing?
Is.
Can you do that? Can you do Adele's singing there? Don't need to be told.
I'm going to fade her out though. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this is a group who the honkivious people, the mayonnaise complected of us. Right? So I'm just kind of doing the math here. They want to be offended. I was talking about retarding the timing on my car.
Right.
If your car is firing too soon,
yeah.
If your car is firing too late on an older car, you need to advance the timing. If it's firing too soon, you retard the timing. It's just what it's called.
Yeah.
Put that in a text. My sister said I was making fun of, just, with no context. Well, you made a Down syndrome joke. So your brilliance and privilege is what folks with Down syndrome need. They can't defend themselves or think things out for themselves. Yeah, so this is a group that's looking in bad faith to be offended, Doris. And
I agree. I totally agree.
The same group that wants to defend you and tell you what you need to be offended about when things other white people say, etc., or celebrities. All of a sudden, they were scared of you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So,
I'd really like to know who's actually racist. The person who, who's does the person who makes jokes about lighting fire, should they go to jail or for being an arsonist? Or what about the person who talks nothing about puppy dogs, kittens, and police's words and lights houses on fire? This generation is putting words in jail and letting arsonists go.
Yeah.
So you have a group that, as you said, they clutch their pearls at a zero, and it seems less to me that they were offended by the joke, but they took it seriously. And who in the royal flying fuck would take that seriously unless they had a preconception about the person, that they didn't know whose mouth it came out of?
That's a good point. I mean, but we all, to be fair, Dutch, we all make like prejudgments off of just ideas.
Sure.
All the time, and 9 times out of 10, like I said before, when we were talking before, we're 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. We don't know anything about anyone. We really don't. But at the same time, we have these unsaid societal things, especially in the United States, where, if you look a certain way, this is how you act. We don't say that stuff out loud. We don't think, but we think that's the case because we think the stereotypes are there. And sometimes those stereotypes are majority of the time, those stereotypes are not true. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it is because people are so scared to have that actual conversation or actually go up and like find out if this is actually true or not. Use
those words.
Well, but that's the thing too. I'll come back to that thought because the art of conversation is completely lost nowadays, but then we'll come back to that thought in a minute.
Let me get my pins out.
Exactly. Put a pin in that. But part of it is just the fact that we just don't talk to each other in general. We just go off in assumptions. We make up stories in our head. And because of whatever stereotype or anything else like that comes, it that's what people follow. And and it's unfortunate, a lot of times I found that more people just don't go outside of their comfort zone because,
they don't have to.
They don't have to, and that's what I love about you, honestly, because you were forced to be outside your comfort zone the way you grew up and, and the environment. And so you understand differences with people and you understand how people are and they move in some cases. And I always, we were talking, I just made a joke that, some white people really scare you, Yeah. And I said that in front of a group of people who just looked at me like, I don't know how to understand that. I don't get that. But if I said it in a different group of people who were people of color, that would be funny as fuck. Because like it is funny, but at the same time, again, people don't have that conversation. They're uncomfortable having those kind of awkward conversations, and nobody wants to offend anybody. So we all just go back and forth and pretend, trying to pretend that we don't know what we're talking about or see what's going on. And
Well,
go from there.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Nobody is having those conversations because, one, the media is bunching everybody up into, if you think this or say this, you're this. If you think that and say that, you're that. And, it's people on the whole are genuinely good and just want to be happy.
Yeah.
It's really not that difficult, but it's really sad that it really is the most basic of conversation. All that bullshit falls away. A great story like that. I was a host at a casino, VIP host, and we had first opened, and three black ladies came into my office, and they sat down. It was like an auntie who was probably in her 60s and two ladies probably in their 30s, and auntie's giving me, hey, I want this, and this, and here's what you're going to do, and that.
Right.
And I just sat in about 25 seconds into it. I gave her one of these. I start looking over each shoulder, and then she finally slows down, and the girls are looking at each other. They said, What are you looking at? I said, I'm trying to figure out who in the fuck you talking to like that.
Right.
The whole room busted up.
Yeah.
Why are people afraid of people? You know what I mean? And people play on those fears with each other, and
that's how they keep people separated, and they keep the masses separated and stuff. And but it's just a simple fact is it's just we don't live next to each other anymore. We don't know each other's lives. We don't know the difference of that. I think that's a lot of the problem there. We all live in segregated communities in some cases, unless you literally go out to go and find out different things about different people, or live in a different location. Like I told you I've lived outside the country for a little bit and stuff. So unless you really honestly like go out and look for that and understand where people's perspectives are coming from, most people just stay in their little bubble, and that's all. They stay in their little friends who all agree, and they all kind of do the circle jerk of just all nodding and agreeing. Go ahead.
No, yeah. Well, and here's what I was going to say. It has worked for so long, and again, people in being nice. If somebody wants to come at you like they're offended, people will naturally get on their heels because we're nice. We don't want to offend somebody.
Yeah, of course.
And that nothing can go gradual in this country. So what you're going to have here is people are going to start putting their hands on people instead of just doing the simple thing now, which is going, shut up. I don't care. You know what I mean? Yeah. Does somebody claim to be offended by what you said? They're probably really not. They want to put you on your heels. I mean, let's be honest about it. You know what I mean? How many times you've heard something, or I've heard something that's questionable, or that's not, something you'd say on the TV or the radio. I'm not fucking offended. You know what I mean? If you're talking about me personally, yeah, but I'm going to roll with it because, when I was a kid, that shit might have hurt my feelings, but you don't need to defend somebody else unless you know them personally. If they're talking about your brother or your spouse or something, then you tell them to shut the fuck up. But beyond that, just let that person be an idiot. Like, seriously. Because how it's going to end up is the fake outrage is going to turn into people are going to start baiting people, and just then that's going to turn into its own hate crime. It's just the way right now, and this I stole this from Corolla. This country is about two things: safe spaces and fighting in the octagon. I'm fucking serious.
I'm not a Corolla. I haven't followed Corolla in a while, so explain that. What does that mean?
You know about the UFC, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with UFC, and I'm familiar with safe spaces, so I understand both. But it just seems like you're just going to fight all the time, or you're always going to miss safe space. Which, by the way, I found a lot of predators in safe spaces, and I found more people in boxing rings that were cool as shit. So, but that's a whole different story there too.
Well, it kind of proves my point.
But it goes back to my what we put that pin in, art of conversation. Most people don't know how to have a conversation anymore, Dutch. It's just like the art form is gone, and we just sit and just make up stories in our head that are not even true. But because most people egos won't allow them to say, is this really true what I'm thinking? They just continue to keep thinking it, and then it just spiral into something bigger and bigger and bigger than what it is. I will tell you a funny story about that. I met this one guy. I was driving him. I was doing my driving gig, and he was going to court, right? It was so funny.
Always a great day.
I was taking him to court, and and so we were just chatting along, and like we were talking about the same subject, about how people just easily offended. He's like, well, this is the reason why I'm going to court right now. So like, what the hell?
Did he give you any more details?
Yes. It is the funniest thing ever. So he was with his friend. It was a guy, kind of alpha-looking guy, muscles and stuff like that. And this friend basically was him both in the bar, right? They both are in the bar. It's a loud bar. Everyone's just talking, and his friend keeps dropping the F word. For the gay lesbian community.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Not fuck, no, but the other F word.
Yeah.
So he kept dropping that word a lot, over and over again and again. Alpha looking guy, kind of deal, like he had a football jersey on. They both were coming from a game, kind of deal, stuff like that. And so this woman, and no offense to white women, please, when I say this, but the white woman came over and she starts yelling at this guy who's saying the F word. Yeah. And she says to him, I have a lot of friends and family who's in the LGBTQ plus community. You have no right to say this, that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And so my friend, his friend goes and looks directly at the woman and says, I suck dick. Do you suck dick? Because I suck dick. I am part of the LGBTQ community. I don't need your ass to come over here and tell me how or what I need to say. So you need to just mind your own effing business.
This man's a hero.
I know, right? However,
how'd he end up in court? I gotta know.
Oh my God. So I asked him, I was like, holy shit, what happened? Oh my God, because that's the funniest shit as ever. Because like, if I was that woman, I'd be like, oh, this just run away with my tail in between my legs. No,
which is what she fucking should have done.
She doubled down. Because she's like, no, you don't look like this, da 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 da.
Oh.
And so I'm like, oh my God. Dude is like owning up. I have never known a man to ever own up to sucking dick. So like, unless he actually suck dick. So like... So, like, of course, this guy is part of the LGBTQ community. Yeah. So, but at the same time, somehow she went to say something to somebody else. He had to defend his friend. Got kicked out of the bar. Got a DUI from that. So, yeah. So, and this is in Kentucky, of all places. So either case,
fuck me.
I know. But apparently, his friend is going to meet up with his friend and all these other things like that. And I don't know what happened to the end of the story, but I thought that was the best comeback line ever.
Fucking ain't right, it was.
Oh my God. Like, because that's the problem, though. But this goes back to what I was saying before.
Yes.
People just make up stories in their head, and they double down on that story, and didn't even bother to listen to what the man was saying to him about him being part of the community. And then he has every right to use that word. It's not something I would use, but it's, but at the same time, I'm not part of that community either. I wouldn't go press that line. But it was, honestly, it wasn't her right to.
Nope.
It wasn't, and also she needed to just mind her own fucking business. Yeah. Let's just be clear. That's really honestly what she needed to fucking do. But she didn't. She came over and thought she was going to be a hero, but came to find out, no, just go away.
Fucking A. If that guy was straight, he should have given the same fucking answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right? But he was talking about a dude he was messing with the other night. It was just like.
Jesus Christ, Doris. This shit it fucking makes me nuts. It makes me fucking nuts.
But that's a lot of the problem, though. Like, people They mean. I imagine that lady meant well. I really think she really honestly thought she was doing something.
But she wasn't
right.
offended. She okay.
But she didn't believe or listen to anything that man said, and she just made it into a whole big thing about her.
Let me ask you
and
something.
that's a lot of the problem there too.
Back in the day, you're a pretty smart person.
Oh, I sound smart. I really am not.
Okay, but you've been around. You've seen some things. If somebody that you've just met announces to you, somebody say you're making a transaction with, or
right.
dealing, or they need something from you, you need something from them, that kind of thing.
Right.
If the first time you've met them, they bring up that they're a Christian, do you trust them?
Ooh, see, we never talked about that. No, because
no.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. It's not even about being Christian. It's just all religions. But here's the thing. I grew up I know we never talked about this, but my family's very religious.
Yeah.
Like I think.
So
I grew. So I know the ways of the world in that sense.
And
I've also a little bit more of the BS there.
Yes, and so you've seen a lot of wolves slapping on the robes. Hiding in you've seen a lot of wolves in Jesus' clothing.
Well, in Allah's clothes and rabbis' clothes, and a lot of them when they're over. And it's not saying that all, because to be fair to all the religious folks, and I'll let you finish your thought in there, Dutch. But not all religious people are like kind of two-faced or
absolutely not,
or shady or anything else like that. But there is a lot of con artists in all religions, kind of like that in some cases. So you have to be a little bit extra careful in that sense, because they're very good. They sell you God. Well, so that's part of it.
My point being is that they will try using that as their little card of trust. Their little, hey, you can trust me.
As I am God. I will tell you another story about that too.
I am virtuous.
Yeah.
Well, that's fallen out of fashion, and now the way to say I am virtuous is to be offended for somebody else. It is the exact fucking same thing, and to me, it's a red flag, honestly.
Yes. It should be.
It is a big red flag. Just like if I flip through the yellow pages and I see a fish on an ad for a place, the Jesus fish, I'm like, oh hell no! You're trying to fucking rob me. Like you don't need. If you're a good person, you just be a good person.
Yeah, you don't need the extra.
Yeah,
you don't need the extra. Yeah.
Pay not attention to me by your eyes or ears, but by your heart. Like what, you know what I mean? And I understand. I know what I look like. I get it. I'm a windbreaker away from being the first guy that gets arrested in every Chomo episode of the SVU. The weird neighbor who, a child disappeared. Yeah. Junk, Mrs. Jones. Yeah, what do you want? Did you see little Joey Johnson?
Yeah.
No, that little kid, he's always banging up and down my hallway. Man, fuck that kid. Well, he turned up raped and dead. But Joe Bob down the hall in 101, he probably did it. Chunk. It's always some guy.
Yeah.
Put a pair of glasses on me and a windbreaker. Hey, I'm Joe Bob. Oh, officers of the law, come on in. I have some kind of weird tea in my pot. Do you like German progressive music? Have a seat. He's never the guy who did it, but he's always the guy that. It's minutes 8 of the episode, so it can't be that guy. I also understand I don't look very bright, but I have a 156 IQ. So I have a rich history of people going, what? When something comes out of my mouth, or So I get it, and I guess it tends to make me a tad more attuned to when people are throwing bullshit out on the flip side of that. But I long gave up on trying to prove anything to anybody. If you're interested, if I've let you into my life to see how it's led, and there's a wide array of people, and basically you will dictate our relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I treat everybody based on how they've treated me. 100%. So I don't know. I can't remember the point I was making, but I do know the point I did want to make. You said safe spaces. You said predators in safe spaces.
There's a lot of them in there, yeah.
Yes. When you go into a safe space, the other thing that's in vogue, it's not as much being offended as it is being a victim. That is what is in vogue. And being a victim is it hobbles you. It automatically says, I'm prey. I'm ready to roll over and die. A safe space is a place where people who feel victimized go to collect. And who did you say is hiding in those safe spaces?
A lot of predators.
Lot of predators.
And they don't know better either, because a lot of them are professional victims. But not.
Yes,
and I'm not. I'm not
Yes,
picking on
they are.
victims. I'm not saying that's their fault.
No, I'm not saying
or
somebody
anything
who
else like that. Nothing like that at all. It's just
Hold on.
unfortunately there is a lot of people who will take advantage of the fact that there is a bunch of victims inside of there, and they again, it's an easy place for a lot of predators to hide. I've seen it several times. That's why I was like, man, you can't even be in a safe space, because like honestly, there's a lot of people there who are looking to take advantage.
Well, if you have a sheep bin, a chicken coop, if you're a hungry raccoon, where in the fuck are you going to go eat? Goddamn chicken. You're not going to go walk in the streets looking for loose chickens.
And that's true. It's very true. When it's all there, it's all there. And
It's
so
a
many
self-selecting sample.
And some people, also too, God, I love, because I hate to say that, but a lot of them are, again, professional victims, and not saying that they want to be victims. Please, no, God, no, nobody ever wants to be victim. I think it's just familiar, and because predators like that are used to being in places like that too, they know it's familiar. They know they can say whatever they need to say to do whatever they need to do.
Well,
and unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that.
Well, let's differentiate to what we're talking about. When I talk, there are people who get victimized and will tend to be that again. I'm talking about, I think we're talking about people who intentionally look to be, who want they will take any attention and sympathy, i.e. through hobbling or victimhood is what they go for.
I see what you're saying.
Yes, not actual
victim,
people.
victims.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes,
Yeah.
but the attention seekers, and it's sad. It really is. So, let's. I'm going to cue up a little. Look, Glenn Campbell here. Take us into break time. At 2 Liter Boy Show 1S on Twitter. Check us out or hit us up. 2 Liter Show number 2 like Tupac at gmail.com. Gorgeous Dutch. The loving and talented Doris Porter. We'll be right back. And we're back. 2 Liter Boys, Gorgeous Dutch DeClain. Doris Porter filling in for the Mocha Choca. Doris.
Hi. Hello,
She's
Mocha
back.
Choca. Where's Mocha
Mocha
Choca
Choca.
at? I have to meet Mocha Choca. He sounds nice.
Yeah, he was supposed to come. You were. We had a party here for the Otter's birthday the other day, and Doris and other improv friend
Came by.
the Cobra, Daniel.
Cobra.
I started calling him
The Cobra, Daniel. I love that, and that fits him very well.
because it makes sense.
Yes.
I told him, I said,
It totally makes sense.
yeah, I told him, I said, I want to do a show, dude, with, and the Mocha was into it. And I said, yeah, man, you could be, what name did I give it? You get a warrant or staying alive. I got to look it up and see what, I came up with a great name for it.
Oh my gosh.
But, Kroll already made Reasonable Doubt. That's a good one, too.
That is a good one.
But
I don't see him doing that though. He's so straight edge. He's so he has a respectable job. He's not like us who own or do things ourselves. No.
yeah.
No, he's too
Probable
straight
Cause.
edge.
That's what I wanted to call it.
Probable cause.
Probable Cause with the 2
Yeah.
Liter Boys present Probable Cause with attorney Dan the Black Cobra Williams. How good would that be?
I I don't see Daniel doing that.
No.
But I like it. I like the name.
Yeah.
I like the concept. It's so much fun. I don't see Daniel doing it.
I don't either, but it's
it's a nice idea.
I would have liked to seen him do it.
It would be a workshop.
I hope he does. Well, I wanted to call him on Roe v. Wade, but he really isn't into canoeing or swimming. So,
well, talk about minding your own damn business there with that. like the last story we were talking about before is just people just not minding their own business. Definitely, men and women who need to mind their own business need to stay away from that. I mean, that's just literally what that situation is, and it's sad to say.
Oh yeah, through and through. And I'd like to talk to him about the legalese, because what I'm hearing is the legality of how they. I mean, let's face it, the shit's political. That's why it got overturned.
Yeah.
But you have to have a constitutionality about it, and from what I understand, it was kind of hokey when it was written, supposedly, and I do know that the right was going after it because they did find out that Jane Roe was in fact not raped, and she lied about something. But regardless, the facts are the facts. Otherwise, that's just kind of a pronoun when we're, you know what I mean, in a world of verbs. So honestly, I mean,
and then rape. What constitutes rape back in those days was a whole different story. Now, rape is also if you a partner that you know and you just say no, and you're with this person for full time. Yeah, that can be part rape if it was forced. So but either case, I don't know. But back to what I was saying, people just need to mind their own business.
Yeah, you know what they say.
Oh
shit. My business. Stay the fuck up out my business.
What's Luder doing these days? I heard he had a cooking show. Like he was trying to learn how to cook. I miss Luda. He needs to come back. I miss him. It's still always party music. It's like DMX. Like it's like classic music, basically. Talk about DMX. Like
how many babies were made to that?
Oh my god. Well, that and like what is it? Is it Rough Riders anthem? Mind your business, lady.
That is great.
Nosy people get it too. Yeah, I miss DMX. God, I love him. Even in death, people were following him. You ever watch that funeral procession where people are following his his coffin, and all the Rough Rider family and then other riders followed it up. If you get a chance, just watching YouTube.
The funeral?
I've never seen a procession. It was one of the best I've ever seen, and it was beautiful. And it's like, my God, even people are following him in death. That is so sad and tragic about him. You won't take this from me, baby. But what was the Rough Riders anthem? I think it's like this is like my. Was it my? Yeah, was it Rough Riders anthem or Party Up in Here? I can't remember.
What?
It's 1,000 years ago.
This is one in the '90s that white people can't sing anymore.
Of course not.
It's a great cut, though.
I don't think anyone could sing it back in the day.
Huh?
That's why I don't remember this one. This is new, actually, for me. Yeah. Oh, I see it. That reminds me of Chris Rock joke. Chris Rock was always saying like, yeah, if you're singing it, then white people can get away with saying it with the A. But like, no, you can't, never, ever, because like you can't.
You missed my.
You always going to offend somebody. It was not even about offending, but it's just like. People don't know you. They don't know you. That's the problem, and they don't know where you're coming from.
You know what this is? Today is an overreaction to that to that era. You know what I mean? And that was the joke I did last episode. Was our cartoons back in the day in the '90s. We had Ghostbusters and GI Joe and all that. And when the shit would go down, every episode, damn Doris has the arms crossed.
I'm listening. I'm just listening to you. Come on with your reasons. Whatever.
Okay. This is my first piece of stand up. Anyway.
All right.
It was always the same bullshit science in every episode. Oh my God, the monster's here and our weapons are useless. Oh my God. The positrons aren't working and we couldn't cross the streams. I know. I'll reverse the polarity. All right. The polarity's reversed on the positrons. Everybody fire.
Right.
I guess this is called a negatron now. Can we say that? It's the 90s. You can say it with an A at the end. It's all right. See, told you it was funny.
That is funny. And you're going to get booed.
That usually kills. Cancel. Yeah.
Just cut it out. Oh my god! Oh, speaking of, that remind me of
Megatron is what I said.
Oh my gosh! Just
like Ruth.
Snip it out. You ever watch Andy? Just snip it out. I was watching. I was talking about a movie that is funny as hell, but it won't ever probably be. This is an early aughts movie, actually. It's called A Hebrew Hammer. For folks who've never seen this movie,
I love that guy, Adam Goldberg.
You've seen it before.
Yes.
You understand. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's a Christmas movie, but it's a Hanukkah movie. Hanukkah. And Adam Goldberg's in it, along with Mario Van Peebles, the very fine, gorgeous Mario Van Peebles. And still a childhood crush there. And Andy Dick, which Andy Dick played.
Andy Dick's a trip.
Andy Dick
nuts.
played like the Santa Claus's kid who goes and kills his own father and stuff. It is hilarious. And one of his like sticks was basically like, I'm just gonna snip it out, just cut it out. That's what I would always say like that. So whenever I hear anyone say anything like that, I always think of Andy Dick just like snip. Whatever. It just goes back to that ridiculous movie. It's on free. If you can watch it for free on Pluto or anywhere else if you have a Roku or something like that. But it's still one of the best holiday movies ever. I love all the Bad Santa is one of my also favorite ones.
I love Bad Santa.
Bad Santa. Fuck me, Bad Santa. Fuck me, Bad Santa.
What do you mean pick him up? I'm 3 fucking feet tall.
Yes! And the greatest ever Bernie Mac. Oh my god! Versus
my God.
Tony, this little guy. They just
Come here,
go
little
back
man.
and forth. Oh, it's still one of the funniest things ever. It's still like just you want to cry.
I love when they tried to teach the kid to fight.
Yes, like you
Little
fucking
man
with
gets
me.
him.
Billy Bob was still badass. I still think, but Billy Bob, that was a true story for Billy Bob. I really believe this is a true story. That's based off of his life. It really is Billy Bob's life that we were looking at that moment in time. Seriously.
I actually had Bad Santa as an Urban Dictionary entry.
Really?
Yeah, it says this guy Crappy. He used to get drunk and piss on people's furniture, so we called him Bad Santa.
Bad Santa.
So it's somebody who gets drunk enough and pisses on your couch. So
Really?
yes, a Bad Santa.
Bad Santa. Oh, that's so fun. That's horrible. Funny at the same time.
Oh God, funny is funny. Like I give a fuck about the words in it. Like it is just, it's funny, and bitches quit being sensitive. Like,
But that's the problem, though. Like, everyone has their own trauma. They all have their own stuff. But also, too, when you are a comedian or if you work in comedy, you see things totally askew than everyone else. Like you're that person laughing at a funeral when somebody is talking bad shit, saying something else. You see the bullshit behind it, and that's the thing. I think a lot of the times you do. It's just like I don't know. That's the whole purpose of being a comedian, or just you see things differently than most other people do, and
that's why comedy's important.
That's why it is needed. Oh
yes,
my
it
God.
is.
Oh my
because
God.
we point that shit out for you, so you can
Exactly.
see how ludicrous.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
If it were not for the Richard Pryors and George Carlins, how much longer would the reign of Nixon went on?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? It just
Well, you talk about Roe versus Wade. George Carlin was trending when the decision came out earlier.
Yeah.
And George Carlin was talking about how. Did you ever see that clip? What George
sure I
Carlin
did.
was talking about? So for folks at home who are listening, it's a great George Carlin clip where he was sitting there talking about how people. We're talking about this clip, and it's insane because it's so true now. Even though it's like at least about 20 plus years old.
This abortion shit. Now,
Yeah, it's
is
so
a
relevant.
fetus a human being? This seems to be the central question. Well, if a fetus is a human being, how come the census doesn't count them?
That's
if
the
a fetus
question.
is a human being, how come when there's a miscarriage they don't have a funeral? If a fetus is a human being, how come
These
people
kids
say
do
we have
now.
2 children and
Yeah,
one on the
really.
way?
They call the
instead of
next
saying
one
we
the
have 3
rainbow
children?
baby.
People say life
Fucking
begins
so
at
stupid.
conception. I say life began about 1 billion years ago, and it's a continuous process.
That's true.
Continuous, just keeps rolling along. Rolling along. I say, you know something? Listen, you can go back further than that. What about the carbon atoms? Huh? Human life could not exist without carbon. So is it just possible that maybe we shouldn't be burning all this coal? Just looking for a little consistency here in these anti-abortion arguments.
Yeah.
See, the really hardcore people will tell you life begins at fertilization. Fertilization when the sperm fertilizes the egg, which is usually a few moments after the man says, gee, honey, I was going to pull out, but the phone rang and it startled me.
Yeah, I lost my title as the pull-out king recently.
Yeah,
But
apparently.
even after the egg is fertilized, it's still 6 or 7 days before it reaches the uterus and pregnancy begins. And not every egg makes it that far. 80% of a woman's fertilized eggs are rinsed and flushed out of her body once a month during those delightful few days she has. They wind up on
But that's
sanitary
sad, though.
napkins, and yet they are fertilized eggs. So
Jesus.
basically what these
But here's the
anti-abortion people are
problem.
telling us is that any woman who's had more than 1 period is a serial killer.
Put it on pause. Put it on pause.
Yeah.
Consistency.
See, here's the problem. Most people don't even understand that anymore. That's basic biology. They don't even understand that part. That's the scary part because they thinking like, oh, it's life because I just like came and there you go. That's
Yeah.
it. No, that's not. He's absolutely right. But most people don't even understand that part. That's how bad not that our
Keep them
schools are
dumb.
bad.
Keep them dumb, Doris.
It's just
Dumb people believe
it's really
that
scary.
Okay, so if you keep people dumb, then they will believe that somebody says they're a woman is now biologically a woman, or what? And right now, they are crate training us. Here's my theory on it: they're trying to see how much shit they can get us to believe before the Chinese finish the 100-year plan and just fucking walk in here without firing a shot. Just a theory. I'm not gonna go deep.
Wow. That's a whole different theory there. I don't know about the woman thing, but we'll come back to that thought. Go ahead and finish the clip.
Yeah, well, I do want to say this. You know, probably too young to remember this, but in the early 90s, crime dropped about 20% magically. And they tried to say it was the mandatory sentences for crack possession.
No. It was abortions.
Correct
It was
window.
and I think, and I will agree with you.
74, the shit became outlawed. 92.
Yeah.
Fucking the courts were a ghost town because all those unwanted pregnancies did not come to term.
Yeah. And that's the situation. What was the
Imagine the shit show we're going to be in 20 years.
There was a movie about that too. It's a documentary, and I can't think of the name of
Freakonomics.
it. Freakonomics.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it. And it
Yeah.
was saying like it was because like the Giulianis. God, I love the Giulianis of the world now. Rudy Giuliani's laws of being like aggressive and putting people in jail for the next 3 to 5 decades of their lives, was the reason why the crime went down. No, it's just the fact that people could not feed their children, and those kids went out and start stealing and become criminals.
Yes,
that's literally what the situation was.
There weren't teenagers couldn't raise a baby stuck with a baby.
Stuck with a baby. And that's just literally the situation of. And that also helped out with the carbon footprint. Which is, again, this clip is older, like at least 96. How
30 years, almost.
Almost 30 years old, and it's still relevant today. Yep. And that's what was trending on Twitter and Instagram and all these other platforms. Because,
Brilliance is evergreen, Doris. Brilliance is fucking evergreen.
Yeah, that's that's crazy. Go ahead and get back.
Yeah. Hey, if they really want to get serious, what about all the sperm that are wasted when the state executes a condemned man and one of these pro-life guys who's watching comes in his pants, huh? Here's a guy standing over there with his jockey shorts full of little Vinnies and Debbies. And nobody's saying a word to that guy.
Vinnies and Debbies?
Not every ejaculation deserves a name. Now, speaking of consistency, Catholics, which I was until I reached the age of reason.
You know, as pro-life, pro-choice.
Catholics and other Christians are against abortion.
Pro-abortion
and they're
people
against homosexuals. Well, who has less abortions than homosexuals?
Jesus.
Leave people alone, for Christ's sake.
That is hilarious. It's still true.
Anyway, the only person that can claim pro-abortion is one who's been told that they were a mistake.
There is an entire class of people guaranteed.
When you come up like that, you become pro-abortion.
I see you.
And the Catholics and Christians are just tossing them aside. You'd think they'd make
guys in
natural
prison tossing them aside.
Mm-hmm.
Go look for consistency in religion. And speaking to my friends, the Catholics, when John Cardinal O'Connor of New York and some of these other cardinals and bishops have experienced their first pregnancies and their first labor pains and they've raised a couple of children on a minimum wage, then I'll be glad to hear what they have to say about abortion.
Amen.
I'm sure
Fucking
interesting.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. You talking to the choir here. Really.
In the meantime, what they ought to be doing is telling these
It remind me, I'm
going to
write one of these checks that you can cash in about 4 years. The fucking altar boys ain't got the truth.
But it's crazy too. Even that back in the 90s. That's so crazy.
That shit. Richard Pryor was raped by one as a kid.
No shit.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He was fucked by a priest. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That shit's been going on since the fucking Roman Empire, dude.
You know what I tell these anti-abortion people? I say, hey.
That's insane.
If you think a fetus is more important than a
that
woman, try
a
getting a fetus to wash the shit stains out of your underwear. For no pay and no pension.
That's true.
I tell them, think of an abortion as term limits. That's all it is. Biological term limits. But you know, the longer you listen to this abortion debate, the more you hear this phrase, sanctity of life. You've heard that. Sanctity of life.
Fucking life is cheap.
Personally,
just is.
I think it's a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, life is sacred? Who said so?
Fucking, I've met too many dumb
fucks. If you read
fucks.
history, you realize that God is one of the leading causes of death.
That is true. He is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. That's very true.
For thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
Hindus, Muslims, Jews, Christians,
people
all
fight over
killing each other
because God told them to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the broader thing you were saying when I said don't trust somebody who tells you they're a Christian. I wasn't going that deep with it.
No, but
I just meant superficially.
They gave the wrong answer to the God question. You believe in God? No. Dead. You believe in God? Yes. You believe in my God? No. Dead. God has a bigger dick than your God.
That's true. That's very true.
Thousands of years, and all the best wars, too. The bloodiest, most brutal wars fought, all based on religious hatred, which is fine with me. Hey, anytime a bunch of holy people want to kill each other, I'm a happy guy. But don't be giving me all this shit about the sanctity of life. I mean, even if there were such a thing, I don't think it's something you can blame on God. No, you know where the sanctity of life came from? We made it up. You know why? Because we're alive.
Yeah.
Self-interest. Living people have a strong interest in promoting the idea that somehow life is sacred. You don't see Abbott and Costello running around talking about this shit, do you? We're not hearing a whole lot from Mussolini on the subject. What's the latest from JFK? Not a goddamn thing. Because JFK, Mussolini, and Abbott and Costello are fucking dead. They're fucking dead. And dead people give less than a shit about the sanctity of life.
That's a very good point.
Only living people care about it, so the whole thing grows out of a completely biased point of view. It's a self-serving, man-made bullshit story. It's one of these things we tell ourselves so we'll feel noble. Life is sacred. Makes you feel noble. Well, let me ask you this. If everything that ever lived is dead, and everything alive is going to die, where does the sacred part come in?
Fucking A, right.
Because even with the stuff we preach about the sanctity of life, we don't practice it. We don't practice it. Look at what we kill. Mosquitoes and flies, because they're pests.
Fucking.
Lions and tigers, because it's fun. Chickens and pigs, because we're hungry. Pheasants and quail, because it's fun. And we're hungry. And people, we kill people. Because they're pests. And it's fun.
It's fun. And they're hungry, perhaps. They're Hannibal. But that's,
and
I mean,
it's
good.
Something else.
Yes.
The sanctity of life doesn't seem to apply to cancer cells, does it? You rarely see a bumper sticker that says, save the tumors.
That's true.
Or I break for advanced melanoma.
That's very true.
Viruses, mold, mildew, maggots, fungus, weeds, E. coli, bacteria, the crabs. Nothing sacred about those things.
Fucking
so at
A.
best, the sanctity of life is kind of a selective thing. We get to choose which forms of life we feel are sacred, and we get to kill the rest. Pretty neat deal, huh? You know how we got it? We made the whole fucking thing up.
That's true. That's true.
The same way. Thank you.
Somebody just yell, fuck you.
Yes.
I heard you heard that too?
Yeah, I heard that too. But that's the thing. Like, I think I was watching a Joan Rivers thing, and they were pissed off and yelling at her. Joan Rivers, like a legend. She was a legend, and she was making fun of a special needs person or special needs in general. And no, suicide.
Oh yeah.
And her,
her husband
killed himself. Yeah, and it's like the person yelled like, "That's not funny." It's like, yes, it is. I have this, and she went into the detail and stuff like that.
Fucking good for her.
But also too, it takes people out of that person doing that. It takes the power away from the audience who came there to enjoy themselves. And,
yes, it does.
And listen to
bitch,
Joan.
get yourself famous and get on stage.
You know, you don't look. You can't, and that goes back to what we were talking about before about comedians doing stuff. You know, you can't take people out of, you know. Everyone came to have a good time and party and stuff. Just because one person is angry and upset, like we're doing full circle here now, Dutch. But just because one person is upset and angry and decides to go ahead and just get mad at everyone because of that reason, it shouldn't allow everyone else to dictate. One person dictating the whole party. The whole party.
Yeah.
The whole thing. That was my thought. Almost there. Yeah. But either case.
Make a wish.
I'm going to bring in the music.
I think so.
He said cannibals. What did a clown falls into a cannibal camp, gets eaten? What's the one cannibal say to the other?
Great question.
Does this taste funny to you?
That's the one thing about clowns. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is good. This is a good way to end. What do you think?
It is. Little Pure Imagination by Lou Rawls. This is the best version of Pure Imagination. My daughter loves this one, actually.
Does she?
Yeah, we did this one together.
I love your daughter. She's so cute.
All right. You have any parting words? And by the way, Lou Rawls doing Pure Imagination, y'all.
No, I think I talked enough already. Don't you think? I got enough out pretty much that I lost my train of thought and forgot what I was saying. I listened to George Carlin make really good sense, and we were back to the whole theme of the show of just
there it is.
You know, minding your own goddamn business.
Keep my name the fuck about your mouth.
Indeed.
And use your pure imagination.
Yeah, and let me do what I need to do to live this made-up life, sanctity of life that we decided we're going to have.
Well, I want to say, hit us up questions, comments, rants, raves at 2 Liter Boy Show.
Tell me
Or-
how great I sound, too.
2 Liter Show. Tell Doris how great she sounds. 2 Liter Show at gmail.com. Hit us with an email.
Oh, and follow me on Instagram, Doris and Cincy. Yes.
Doris in Cincy on Instagram.
Yes. Look
Follow
me
that
up.
girl.
Follow me.
There's nothing to it. And for Doris Porter, Dutch Master Studios, the 2 Liter Kids, as it is today. Don't sweat it. Don't get heated. It's the same soup, just reheated. I'm Gorgeous Dutch to Clean.
I'm Doris, a.k.a. Porter.
Yes, Doris
Doris B.
for pure imagination.
There you go.
Saying, we out.
Bye.